Hello, 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 everyone. What is up? How is everyone doing? Let me just check my audio. Yep, yep, yep. So, yeah, I wanted to try something a little different. So, thank you to everyone who is here live and everyone who's going to catch this on the replay. I wanted to do something a little bit different where I chit chatted about my weekly reads via live stream instead of a sit down edited video, even though this still is sit down because I'm sitting down, but you know what I mean. So that is why it is in a live format. So we're just going to jump right in. These are all the books I read between April 29th and May 12th. So this is a double weekly wrap up. It's 2 weeks instead of the 1 week. And before I begin, just a few ways that you can support my channel. Subscribe and hitting the notification bell. Of course, if you are lurking but unable to chat, the chat is subscriber only right now. You can also become a patron for as little as $3 a month. My Patreon is linked below. I also have an Etsy shop and a Pango book storefront, a book club, a Discord server, and then, of course, check out my latest video. Let's start with my DNFs. I only DNF'd 2 things during that 2-week period, which I think is pretty dang good, and that was Land of the Lustrous Volume 1 and Womb City. So Land of the Lustrous is a manga that I've had on my radar for a very long time, and I started reading it, and I was just so confused. It was confused, convoluted, and the characters all looked the same. And yeah, I was just not interested enough to push through, so I put it down. And then Womb City, I am so disappointed that I did not enjoy Womb City enough to finish it. I think I got maybe like 25 or 30% of the way through. And this one is a futuristic sci-fi where women's bodies are highly monitored. And yeah, and so the character that we're following, her body, her consciousness is in a different body. So in this world, you have body lifespans, and a body can be destroyed or a consciousness can be removed from a body. And honestly, it was so confusing. It was explained multiple times, but it was still so confusing, and it was not interesting enough for me to plow through just how confusing it was, and so I had to DNF Womb City, which was mucho disappointing. And then going into novellas and or novels and novellas and novelettes and all the like, we have Hazel in Grey by Nick Stone. This one was, a cute little retelling of Hansel and Gretel, and I really appreciated this take on it. It does keep the dark undertones of Hansel and Gretel, but it updates it and makes it a little bit more modern. And then we have Treasure by Onikin Braithwaite. This is the same author as My Sister the Serial Killer, and it might just be that this writer's writing is not for me because I didn't really enjoy My Sister the Serial Killer either. And oh, I forgot to tell you what I gave Hazel and Grey. I gave Hazel and Grey 3 stars. Back to Treasure. And Treasure might have been better as a novel, but also might not have been better as a novel. I don't know. But yeah, I gave that one 2.5 stars. And then we have What the Fireflies Knew by Kai Harris. This is a literary fiction that follows a little black girl in the 90s. And it is an adult novel, even though it is told from the first person perspective of an 11-year-old. And I appreciated what the author was trying to do with this one and just exploring different facets of Black girlhood or just girlhood, but from a Black girl's lens. And there were definitely some aspects that were underdeveloped, and I would have appreciated a lot more development in What the Fireflies Knew. And I gave it 2.75 stars. Then we have Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jesse Q. Sutanto. This was an unexpected 5 star. Like, I really loved and enjoyed this. It's hilarious, it's heartfelt. Jesse Q. Sutanto really does a great job at unconventional murder mysteries. And so we have Vera Wong, who she runs a tea shop. A dead man ends up in her tea shop. And so she kind of gathers all the people that she thinks could have done it and is like, okay, I'm going to solve the mystery of this man's murder because no one's taking me serious. And she's just such an eclectic, strong-willed, strong personality. And I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Then we have We Are Bone and Earth by Essie Edugayan. This is another Amazon original story. It is a historical fiction that takes place during the transatlantic slave trade. And the context of this story is interesting, but the character work was a bit lackluster and unclear. But otherwise, I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.25 stars. And then we have Bloody Summer by Carmen Maria Machado. I've never read anything from this author, but now I want to because this one was super interesting. And there's a unique method of storytelling that feels less like fiction and more like investigative journalism, which I really appreciated. And I ended up giving that one 4 stars as well. Then we have Graceful Burdens by Roxane Gay. This is another Amazon original story, and it takes an interesting look at the concept of pro-life, and it flips it on its head completely, and it explores it using a slightly dystopian manner. And so we live in a society where babies are in high demand. And so if you're unable to have a baby, you can go to a baby library and check out a baby for whatever reason, right? You can check out the baby, take care of it for a few days, and then bring it back because there are like you have to be approved to be a parent or to be a mother, really. And so you have to go through and get a baby license. And if you're not licensed to have a kid, then you're not having a kid. And it was just very interesting. And I want more fiction from Roxane Gay. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. Then we have The Black Pages by Nydia Okorafor. This is an interesting story about a guy who returns to Timbuktu amidst an Al Qaeda raid and is pulled into protecting these magical books. I'll be real honest, this one was a bit forgettable. It was. I initially gave it 3.75 stars, but as I'm talking about it, I'm like, I don't, it's not. It really isn't. So I might bump that down to like a 2.75. We'll see because it really was unforgettable, or it really was forgettable. Then we have Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This is a YA contemporary romance between a very quirky, weird girl who loves talking about conspiracy theories, and a young teen boy who is also dealing with OCD in his regular life. And this is an previous best friends to enemies to lover story. And there's also second chance because they used to be best friends. And it's just a beautiful teen love story that's full of humor and growth and introspection. And I'm not going to talk too much about this because this is actually part of a blog project that I'm working on currently. But yeah, I loved it. I give it 5 stars. Then we have 2043, A Mermaid I Should Turn to Be by Nisi Shaw. This story should have stayed in the drafts. It really should have stayed in the drafts. It's controlling, or not controlling, it's confusing and convoluted. And the premise was so fascinating and so interesting. Like, Black people have taken to the sea to escape, and it was doing too much and not enough at the same time, and so I ended up giving the Niecy Shaw book 2 stars, which was a very generous 2 stars, to be quite honest. Then we have These Alien Skies by C.T. Rizzi, and this one is a sci-fi. It's about a man who ends up he's gone to space, and he ends up crash landing on this planet that has these inhabitants that he thinks should not be there, if that makes sense. Um, hello, hello, thank you for coming. And this one was so interesting and so fascinating. I would have loved a longer book from these alien skies. I really would have. So much to the point that I went and looked at what else this author has put out, and they do have a trilogy. So I do plan on reading their trilogy this year. And then we have Clap Back by Nalo Hopkinson. This is a futuristic world where, oh, I gave These Alien Skies 3.75 stars. With Clap Back, this is a futuristic world where there are these nanobites or nanobots that can be injected, or no, by wearing clothing, they can be injected into your bloodstream, and then you can see the stories, or you can say the stories of other people. It was an interesting concept. It was a little confusing, not gonna lie, but it was an interesting concept. I gave it 3.25 stars. And I didn't say this in the beginning, but all of the Amazon original stories, if you have Kindle Unlimited, they're part of Kindle Unlimited, so you can read them as part of that subscription. And if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, then they are like 99 cents or $1.99 for the ebook. All right. We Travel the Spaceways by Victor Laval. This follows an unhoused man who has been given divine instructions from garbage on how to save his people, which sounds so wild as a concept, but it worked. And everything about this short story worked. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away. I just highly think that you should go read it if you have not. And I ended up giving We Travel the Spaceways 4 stars. Ablaze and Love Notes, I'm not gonna talk too much about because they are part of a vlog project that is coming in the beginning of June. But Ablaze by A.H. Cunningham is a polyamorous woman, man, man romance. Um, woman, man, man, black romance, and it has kink. It's very steamy. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. And then Love Notes by Christina C. Jones was fun and heartwarming love story. Again, both of those are part of a vlog project, so I'm not gonna talk about them, but I gave Love Notes 4 stars. Highly recommend both of those. Then we have the last 4 in the novellas section, and we have Momo Arashima Breaks the Mirror of the Sun. This is the second Momo Arashima book, and I'm really enjoying this series. There's great character development in this one. I appreciated the message of not ignoring your anger. Like, it is okay to be angry and to have those emotions, and there's consequences when you ignore your anger or ignore any of your negative emotions. And this one follows Momo and her friends as they have to find the mirror of the sun because there is this Gumiho who has decided that she is just going to go around kidnapping children for some reason that you find out in the book. And I gave Momo Arashima Breaks the Mirror of the Sun 4 stars. And then we have Key Player by Kelly Yang. This is the 4th book in the Front Desk series. I'm really loving this series. I loved how feminist this installment is. This series takes place during the 90s. We are following Mia Tang. Her parents are trying to buy a house. She's trying to get a good grade in gym, as well as meet the players from the Chinese women's soccer team because it is like this history making competition between the American team and the Chinese team. And so she's also warring with those two sides of herself of being a Chinese American. And I ended up giving Key Player 5 stars. Then with How to Be a Better Adult, this is another one that's in a vlog project. So I'll give you the very quick synopsis. This is about a millennial working in corporate America who is just down on her luck. And she comes in contact with this enchanted book that is speaking directly to her. And she's trying to navigate how to be a better adult with this enchanted book. Then we have Curl Friends, New in Town. This is a middle grade graphic novel by Cherie Miller, and it follows our main character, whose name I, of course, forgot. She is new in town and she's trying to fit in and make friends, and she's going through all these, I guess, different iterations of herself, and she's not being true to who she is, and she's trying to create an identity around what she thinks is popular in order to gain and keep friends. And of course, that doesn't go well for her. But yeah, so that's it for novels and novellas. Now we're going to mosey on into comics and manga. So first we have Inspector Volume 2, which I've talked about the Inspector series in another weekly wrap up in a previous one. But this is a fantasy one where we have a young girl, not a young girl, she's a teenager. She's chronically ill, she's disabled, and she is like that because she was captured by these specters, if you will, when she was younger and made into their god. And in exchange for that, she helps them with their problems and they help her with her problems, and she fights off these evil specters. And I gave volume 2 4 stars. And then we have the Savior's Book Cafe Story in Another World, which I really do think that title is too long. And I read the first volume in that series, and the title kind of tells you what it's about. We have this woman, she's in her 30s, and this god comes to her and it's like, I need to send you to another realm so that you can be the backup savior in this realm, and I'll give you whatever you want, but you have to go. And so we're following her, and all she wanted was a book cafe. That's all she wanted. And so I gave volume 1 of that one 4 stars. Then we have A Sign of Affection, volume 1, which I've been dying to read. Everyone keeps saying it's so good, and it is. And this follows a deaf college girl and a college boy, their romance. And I ended up giving volume 1 5 stars. I already took out volume 2 from the library, and so I will be reading that fairly soon. Then we have Osan Idol Volume 2, following 3 middle-aged men who decide that they're gonna become pop stars. I gave Volume 2 3 stars. It was a bit lackluster. I might continue on with the series, we'll see. And then we have Noragami Stray God Volume 4, which follows a not super popular god who makes a deal with a girl who can jump out of her body. And I gave that volume 3 stars as well. It was a bit lackluster, but I'm hoping that the story picks back up fairly soon. And then, y'all, I finally picked up My Hero Academia Volume 1. This was so good. This is about a young boy who lives in a society or lives in a world where almost everyone has some kind of super ability or special ability except for him. And he really wants to go and become a hero. And he ends up meeting his hero. And his hero is like, I will help you become a hero. And I gave volume 1 of My Hero Academia 4 stars. I also read Attack on Titan volume 1, another one where it's like finally. My partner has been trying to get me to either read or watch this series, so we're finally on this journey. And I feel like I don't even need to tell you what Attack on Titan is about, so I'm not going to. But I gave volume one 4 stars. And then I continued on with The Ancient Magus' Bride. I read the most recent 2 volumes, volume 18, which I gave 4.5 stars, and volume 19, which I gave 4 stars. All right, now on to picture books after a sip of water. So we have The Adventures of Quay Quay by Serena Williams. This one was super cute. I'm looking around to find my notes on it. This one was super cute. It follows, there we go. It follows a little girl who we just know as Baby Girl, and she has a dance competition coming up, and she's super nervous, but then her baby doll comes alive and is like, "I got you." It was fun and colorful artwork, and I was kind of expecting multiple adventures with Kwekwe, but we only get her helping Baby Girl with one obstacle, which was a little weird. It's like, why would you say The Adventures of Kwekwe? Like, the title just did not match what was inside the book. Then we have Little Black Girl. This was just stunning artwork and a beautiful message. Really enjoyed it. And it focuses on just all the different career paths out there with a focus on STEM because the little black girl that we're following, she has a dream of going into the STEM field. But it's basically like you can do anything you set your mind to. Then we have Overground Railroad. This one has really soothing and rhythmic lyrics, and it's warm and relaxing artwork. And I didn't know about the Overground Railroad or even put together the connection between the Great Migration and the Underground Railroad and how they are definitely parallels to each other. They just take place in a different time. Then we have Tio's Tutu. This is a beautiful story about a little boy who simply was to dance and wear a pretty tutu during a recital. And it's all about just the different ways that we can express ourselves and how that is not limited to gender and it shouldn't be limited to gender. Then we have Fry Bread. This one uses the native dish of fry bread to show a full and inclusive picture of indigenous cultures and heritage. And the artwork reminded me of picture books from my childhood. And it feels very much like color pencil. And I highly recommend this one. I also want to try some fry bread at some point in my life because I've heard about it, but I didn't know how to make it, and that's also another cool thing. There's actually a recipe in the back of this one. Then we have It Was Supposed to Be Sunny. This one is about a little girl who had the best plan for her birthday, and it gets completely messed up because of rain, and it's all about her trying to figure out how to navigate through this new situation that is not what she wanted or planned for. Then we have Hair Love. This was super cute and funny. I absolutely love this one. This is about a little girl. There's a big day coming up, and she's trying to get her hair perfect, and her dad is trying to help her, and it's just super fun. I loved it. I gave this one, I don't even think I've been saying the ratings, but this one was definitely a 5-star one for me. All right. Now, what I made progress in during those 2 weeks, it's only about 6 things. So we have Blood Over Brighthaven by ML Wang. Guess I should go in order from So starting all the way at the left, we have The Lotus Palace by Jeannie Lin, A Woman Is No Man by Ataf Rum, Blood Over Bright Haven by ML Wang, Dava Shastri's Last Day by Kirthana Ramasetti, Josephine Against the Sea by Shakira Bourne, and The American Queen by Vanessa Miller. That's everything that I made progress in, but just did not complete during those 2 weeks. And that all comes to a total of 3,854 pages. And in terms of audio, that's 22 hours and 20 minutes. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, whether you were there for the live stream or you're catching this on the replay. I appreciate you. And the different ways that you can support, of course, subscribe, hit the notification bell, become a patron for as little as $3 a month, shop my Etsy shop and my Pango Book storefront, join my book club and my Discord server, which is all linked below, and then check out my latest videos, which of course are these two right here. And I will see you somewhere on the internet. Bye.
Showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm